Hey geometry, we haven't talked about tangents in a few lessons, so let's take what we've learned and see what we can do with just applying tangents to it. So first off, use a calculator and find the tangent of theta. Enter the values correct to 4 decimal places in the last row of the table. So I calculated tangent, which is the same as sine over cosine, because it is the same, and I couldn't get 4 decimal places. But here's a little reminder: when you are working with your calculator, try to keep whatever your answer is when you use your calculator to calculate tangent, sine, or cosine, or any of them. Try to keep the answer in there and use what you have without rounding, just to up your accuracy a little bit. Just a little word of advice. Cool. For part B here, in the row labeled sine over cosine, divide the sine value by the cosine values. What do you get? Well, so I'm going to take the sine value and divide by the cosine value. Thanks for waiting for me to type. And I got 0.1763, which is the sine divided by the cosine. Okay, this column right here. So if I take this value divided by that value, I get these values. Amazing. Scott, whose eye level is 1.5 meters above the ground, stands 30 meters from a tree. So we are 1.5 meters above the ground, and we are 30 meters from a tree. The angle of elevation, that means he's looking up at a bird at the top of the tree, is 36 degrees. Angle of elevation, 36 degrees. How far above the ground is the bird? So we need to find this value and add it to this value. So we know this is 30. So we're going to do what we see is opposite over adjacent. That's tangent. So tangent of 36 equals opposite over adjacent. Remember, we can go back to a table and try to look at numbers and use ratios, or we can use our calculator. Cross multiply, I get 30 times tangent of 36 equals x. Go ahead and type that out. 30 times tangent of 36, 232.5. Here is an important lesson in, that number doesn't make sense. Let's look at our calculator to see if we are in radians or degrees. Well, I was in radians, which means this is not right. So let's try again. I need to do x equals 30 times tangent of 36 with my calculator in degrees. 30 tangent 36. Whoa, so much better. 21.8. So x equals 21.8 meters. The person's eye level is 1.5 above ground. Let's add those together. 23.3 meters is my final answer. Think about it. Okay, you get a crazy answer, it's not right. Chances are you did something wrong. Okay, from an angle of depression of 40 degrees, John watches his friend approach the building while standing on the rooftop. His rooftop is 16 meters above the ground, and John's eye level is 1.8 meters from the rooftop. What is the distance between John's friend and the building? Well, angle of depression. Okay, that's his eye level. He is looking down. Here is my angle of depression. There is my right angle. Distance between John's friend and the building, this is x. Okay, we don't know the hypotenuse. We don't need to know the hypotenuse, but this right here is 17.8. which is 1.8 plus 16. So we're trying to find x. So let's set up our equation. I have tangent of 40 equals opposite over adjacent, so opposite over adjacent, 17.8 over x. Cross multiply, I get x times tangent 40 equals 17.8. If I divide both sides by tangent of 40, which is a number in itself, you can't separate tangent from 40. Those cancel out, and I'm left with x equals 17.8 over tan 40. Handy dandy calculator, I get 21.2 meters, which is the answer. Good job. Okay, I'm going to push pause. Can you try exercise 1 on your own and see if you can get the right answer? I got 206 meters, no, 200.6 meters, which honestly, we're talking about something that big. We probably should round to 201 meters. But there we go. If you're not sure what I did, go ahead and star it and ask me in the morning. Exercise 2, a little bit different. A line on a coordinate plane makes an angle of depression of 36 degrees. Find the slope of the line correct to 4 decimal places. Remember, slope is rise over run, or your value of y over x, or in this case, m over n. Also, if we think about it, if we go back to here, oops, sorry about that. Slope is y over x. We can also say that slope is sine, which is your y value, over cosine, which is your x value. We're all talking about slope here. Or slope is just plain old tangent, right? So in this case, like, I can't even count the values because it doesn't stop at an ordered pair. But we do know that if we take the tangent of the angle, we can get the slope. For this case, though, we have an angle of depression. Our slope decreases. So we want to make sure our slope is negative, our answer. 0.73 is what tangent of 36 is, and then I added the negative to make sure I knew that I have an angle of depression. My line is decreasing from left to right, which means my slope is negative. And that's the answer. Okay, we will have some like this on your problem set. So if you're not sure what just happened, please ask. Pause there for a second. I guess I can talk about if we had a coordinate plane and one that looked like this with an angle of elevation, this would be a positive slope. And it still would be tangent of the angle because it's opposite over adjacent, y over x, which is slope. Pretty cool.